more, and we're finding out more about movies that are releasing with Tanya today here on Good Things. Like I said, I did a little bit of my homework. I always feel very proud of myself when I watch something you recommended, whether it's streaming or, on the big screen. And so I finally saw Cruella, now that I don't have to pay the extra for it on Disney Plus. And I will say, not for kids. I see why you said that. But wow, they did a really good job with that.
I thought so too. I thought it was a very interesting insight to her character.
And they a little bit of the twist and all the things, and so that's I will say 2 thumbs up for that. I would watch it again. That's one, like, if my husband wanted to watch it, because he's a big sort of Disney fan of that way. But I had several friends who said they had never seen 101 Dalmatians, and so they wouldn't necessarily feel the same about watching it. And I thought, how are you American?
I know.
How did you make it this far in life and not see that? But anywho, I thought that was I will give 2 thumbs up for Cruella if you want to stream that. Yeah.
Well, there's some buzz out there that they may do another 101 Dalmatians with this Cruella in it, so we'll see.
With that, because it's not the dogs it's not the same movie. It's probably like the pre-movie to, the 101. Yeah. I totally get that. Yeah, I'd watch it.
I would too, for sure. I love all of those movies.
So what's up for this week?
Well, this week we have just a couple of new releases in the theater. One of them actually did some filming on the coast.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. It's called The Card Counter. And this is kind of a dark and gritty movie. It stars Oscar Isaac, who I'm a huge fan of. He plays Poe in the more recent Star Wars movies. But he's such a good actor. But it's directed and written by Paul Schrader, who is the guy that brought us Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. So some of those oldie but classic kind of movies. So, those are kind of gritty too. But it's a story about a guy who, he's ex-military, who there were some photos going around of them torturing prisoners.
Yes.
Well, that's what his character is accused of doing. There's pictures, so he did it. And then he has to go to jail or to military prison. And then he gets out and he kind of lives life under the radar. But what he does is he goes around to casinos and counts cards to make a living, And
I was going to wonder where the card counting part came on. And so that, I guess, is why it got connected to the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Yeah. So anyway, he, it does that along the way. He takes a younger guy, the son of one of his military friends, under his wing. The movie's really more about him dealing with his dark past than actually casinos, counting cards, all of that stuff. That was just kind of his way to make a living, after everything that had happened to him. But it is a dark movie. Tiffany Haddish is also in it. She plays his love interest. And I wanted so bad for there to be more chemistry between her and Oscar's character. I just didn't feel it. And I'm such a fan of hers because she has got such a yucky background as far as she had a tough childhood. And she really rose above it, obviously, because she's so successful. So I'm always rooting for her because I think she's a really good person. But for me, she was just not so great in this movie. But I thought Oscar Isaac was really good.
So who's this a good movie or a good fit for?
I would not go see. This is not a date movie. To me,
it's probably not a first date for sure.
Yeah, definitely, because it's a Debbie Downer for sure. But if you just want to kind of get lost for a couple of hours, maybe if you're out on your own, if you're like me, I enjoy going to movies by myself. If it's something that not an action hero, like something like that, would want my family to go. But if you're just looking to maybe be alone for a couple of hours, or to me, I think the people that like Raging Bull and Taxi Driver, I think are going to love this one.
Gotcha.
So to me, in my mind, I think of men. It skews more to men.
in that way. That's okay.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
deserve movies too.
Yeah. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Oscar's name announced during Oscar season because he really is good. He's such a good actor. And Willem Dafoe is also in it. And, of course, he's always so good at everything he does. So he's got a small but very good role.
In that. Is that the only release this week?
Well, there's another one, a horror movie, and we touched on it last week called Malignant. And it is also available on HBO Max. So Card Counter is only in theaters. So if you want to check it out, if you're in the mood, if you want to get a head start on Halloween, that's a good option.
What's it spin?
Well, it's about this woman named Madison who is having these terrible dreams. And unfortunately, she figures out that they're not dreams. It's her reality.
Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone who has vivid dreams and remembers them, I'm like, I wake up and think, oh my God, I'm glad that was just a dream or whatever. To think that would actually be.
To find out it's true.
Yeah, it would be not necessarily up my. But I guess we're headed into that season. Because there's seasons with movies, and so mid-September into late October is going to sort of be that Halloween sort of season, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there another weekend for like the big blockbuster? I mean, we just had Labor Day.
I know. It's, I think it's going to be kind of slow until probably Thanksgiving, Christmas time. There's no really, really big movies until the first one I see is the James Bond movie, but I think I heard that it's being pushed again. But as of right now, I've got October as the date for that one. And then Halloween Kills will be a big one. Dune is a big one coming out in October. And then, Eternals, I believe, is coming out around Thanksgiving. And that's another Marvel movie that looks really, really good with Angelina Jolie. So, there's some stuff, but I just don't think it's going to pick up like what we're used to until probably next year.
How has going back to theaters picked up? I mean, I know you have eased back in there. So many listening to Good Things have. But in terms of like overall numbers, are people trusting getting back out to the theaters? And maybe that's not even it. Are they just getting in the habit of going back to the movies?
I think so. I mean, I've just noticed it personally going to the theater that the crowds, it's definitely not what it was, but there's definitely people there, Probably Space Jam was the busiest movie I've been to since the pandemic. I mean, that theater was pretty much full. Every other movie I've seen since has been about maybe 50% capacity. So I think people are easing back into it.
Which I think if you are one who avoided the movie theater because you just didn't like the crowds, now would definitely be your time to sort of take advantage of enjoying the big screen without the big crowds. I saw, and I can't remember which movie broke sort of the post-pandemic box office. Was it The 10 Rings? I'm going to get the name right. Rhino's shaking his head. So I think it did really well.
Yeah, and right before that, Black Widow did pretty well too. But I believe, I can't remember, was it released same day on streaming? It might have been. So to me, that's a little harder to gauge. But yeah, Shang-Chi was only theaters, and will be for another month. So.
And you mentioned here on Good Things, Tanya, that is worth seeing in the big screen.
Definitely. The action is just really something that I feel like everybody needs to see on the big screen. The colors. I mean, some of the best action sequences I've ever seen. And then, of course, the martial arts component's really cool to watch too.
I've really enjoyed the trailers that I've seen for it. In that, have you found one yet that you'd go back to multiple times? I mean, I know there are people out there who would see a movie and then you would catch it several times, or streaming just really ruined that for us.
I think for me, I want it on the big screen. I mean, but I would definitely go see, and I will go see Shang-Chi again. With my kids because I want them to see it. I think it's great for them to see representation on the screen of an action hero that maybe looks a little different from what they've seen in the past. So,
well, it also has different superpowers.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's just his ability to fight. I mean, he learned martial arts as a kid and is really, really good at it. So.
Well, lots to see or to sort of take in. Anyone, though, that you've got the date wrapped around, you're like, can't wait?
Dear Evan Hansen, we're only 2 weeks away, so that's the one I'm really excited about.
All righty. Well, let's get out there and watch some movies. You can give us your feedback. I try to do my homework, Tanya. I don't know what I'm going to see this week, but I always feel like you'd be proud of me for catching a movie, and I've enjoyed them all. And we enjoy you here on Good Things. But stick with us. We've got more for you coming up next.